Hi everyone, it's Jonathan. As you can see, I'm on a low level orc. I'm an orc warrior, in fact, and I'm in the middle of Orgrimmar. And the reason I'm on an orc warrior that's a low level is because I'm talking about something that only matters to low level players. Actually, you know what? It doesn't even matter to high level players. What I'm going to talk about is looking for group. I was just vote kicked from a Time Walker dungeon. Now, Time Walker dungeons are fine. They're cool, whatever. I like doing them. But when you vote kick someone at the last boss and they have just joined the group and had to run the entire way, and then they get to have a 30-minute timer, and your excuse is that I'm the warrior tank and I'm supposed to be able to pull, and you're fucking with my aggro generation and misdirect hampers my damage mitigation, you, sir, need to learn to play. I don't know how you got to be level 95 on a protection warrior without dual spec in this game that's in a guild with your guild members, and you believe shit like that. I pulled a grand total of 3 trash mobs as soon as I got to the group. They were there. They had been waiting on me. So what I did was I misdirected, and they said they were ready, so I pulled. As soon as it was killed and everything was looted, I was vote kicked. And I asked why, and this asshole had the balls to say to me, because your misdirect messed with my damage mitigation. Are you fucking kidding me? Really? What kind of moron says misdirect messes with my damage mitigation? Now, again, I'm on a warrior. This is a level 35 warrior. You can see the character name right there. I'm actually in the Friends Guild. This is not a high-level warrior. I do have one, but since I was playing Horde today, I thought, I'll actually get on a Horde character and do this. What happens when you're a warrior is very simply, now, like, I'm Fury, but you see this one is dual spec for well, actually, you can't see. Let me show you. Hang on. Never mind. I only have single spec. I didn't get it. Anyway, I'm Fury right now. My main warrior is Protection, and that warrior is level 91 right now. I haven't spent a whole bunch of time leveling it. My initial warrior was Protection and has been Protection since I made the character in Cataclysm. I've been tanking since Burning Crusade. I have tanked on every single class in the game. And when I say every class in the game, I mean Paladin, Hunter, Rogue, Warrior, Priest, Mage, Warlock, Death Knight, Monk, everything. I've tanked as everything. I've done raids as a tank. I've done PvP as a tank. Dungeon as a tank. I've quested as a tank. My main is a Protection Paladin, and I leveled her through Draenor as a tank, nothing else, okay? I tend to play mostly tanks, and I like warrior tanks. They're fun. This one, the one I'm running around right here, was actually going to be a Protection warrior, but I was like, you know what? I've never played Fury, and I want to have flaming dual axes, because why the fuck not? Okay? Point being, I kind of understand the basics of the warrior class and how to tank, okay? It's not that difficult. Now, the basic thing here is defensive stance. Reduces your damage taken by, right there, 20% and increases threat generation. It generates 1 rage every 3 seconds while you're in combat. Okay? Me pulling 3 trash mobs when the group is ready is going to not leave this tank rage starved. Okay? The group took maybe 20 seconds to kill this trash pool. Okay? Because, they were all, I was the only character in there that was level 100 that was doing damage. Okay? And it took maybe 20 seconds total. The warrior tank would not have been rage starved. Even with the priest healer, which we didn't have, it wouldn't have mattered. Now, it used to matter that you had a priest because they used to bubble you, and that would mess up your damage mitigation because that would mess up your rage, particularly if they were a disc priest and the bubble would actually absorb the damage. It don't work that way no more. Okay? It doesn't work that way in this game anymore. Blizzard has fixed that. What you have is an ability that reduces your damage anyway, and that allows you to generate rage. Now, you've built up some rage because we just killed some trash. And your response is to say, your misdirect reduces my damage mitigation and to vote kick me. Again, defensive stance is the basic function for protection warriors. It doesn't matter what the fuck else you do, as long as you're in defensive stance, you're theoretically okay. You can stand there and just scream at your monitor, and you're good. You're fine. You're a warrior. You're pulling threat anyway. Misdirection, asshole, who I'm not going to name directly, but you are an asshole for this, reduces my threat and puts my threat onto you. That's the way it's always worked. It shifts the threat from the hunter to whatever the target is. And I had you targeted, so that means, for about 30 seconds or whatever, my threat actually went to you and you alone. Anything that would have come for me will go to you. And as long as you're being attacked, as long as you're taking damage as a warrior, guess what? You're building threat. The entire time you're in combat, if you read defensive stance right here, you generate 1 rage every 3 seconds while in combat. You generate rage while you take damage, and you generate it naturally in combat. That's the way your class works, boy. That's the way it works. To say stupid shit to me like I'm messing with your damage mitigation, no. I'm actually helping it. And the problem is that none of this has anything to do with damage mitigation. If you just wanted to say something like, I don't like hunters, please let me pull, I'd be okay with that. I could live, another day and be told it's okay, whatever. I don't give a shit. No. Instead, your dumb ass decided to say, you're messing with my damage mitigation, and you vote kick me. And then you jumped on me and started calling me a huntard. No, I'm not a huntard. It's assholes like you that are the problem. Now, granted, I'm kind of angry right now because I don't really like being vote kicked. And if I'm going to be vote kicked by someone on the server I'm playing on, I would like to know an actual reason why I'm being vote kicked. And this was not an actual reason. This was a bullshit excuse. And I was later told by someone else in their guild, he doesn't like hunters. What happened was the last DPS we had who went through the entire dungeon doing the exact same thing you did, and he couldn't stand it. The exact same thing I did? You mean they misdirected to him? Shifted their threat? Actually did what a hunter's supposed to do? Now, granted, I could have stood there and stood there and stood there while you decided to wait. I'm going to pull. But no, when I ask if you're ready, and I get there, and I misdirect, and you're already running towards the trash mobs, you have no basis of an argument against me, okay? And I see this shit all the time in looking for group. I see it all the time in looking for raid. I'm tired of it. I think most of the player community in this game is actually tired of it. We're tired of people who say, I'm the tank, bro. I know what I'm doing. Let me make all the pulls. Okay. I asked you when I joined, are you ready? Sure. Okay. I'll be there in a minute. Okay. I get there. You're fucking standing there. For one, you're standing there. It's 3 trash mobs at the last boss. You could have killed it before I even got there, and we'd have been just fine. But no, you stood there. So I get there. Ready? Yeah, sure. Misdirect. Pull. There we go. Didn't hurt anything. Didn't hurt anything at all. Didn't cause a wipe. I didn't cause anyone at all to die. You didn't lose control of your character. The healer couldn't fail to heal anybody. Nothing else got pulled. It was fine. It was 3 trash mobs. It was okay. So you vote kick me for that. Now, yeah, I could have said, would you like me to pull for you? That way you don't have to run in. But I didn't, because I assume when you say, I'm ready, you mean I'm ready. Instead, I got vote kicked, and I'm angry, and now I'm calling you out for what is essentially a very dickish thing to do. And the reason it's a dickish thing to do is because, again, your reasoning was false here, buddy. It was wrong. It was wrong, entirely wrong. Now, again, Like I mentioned before, I've played as a tank a lot. I tank all the time, except for this character right here, and obviously the hunter I was on, because I have at least one of every class that I'm trying to level. Okay, and having an undergeared hunter in a time walking dungeon is a nice little cheap way to get some gear on an alt that I'm never going to play, taking advantage of something there that's supposed to give me gear. Okay, it's fine. It didn't hurt anything, and you're not even max level to begin with. Again, like I said earlier, I was the only person there who was even level 100. You're trying to get some gear to use when you get 100. I'm trying to get some gear to use now that I am 100. It's one boss. It didn't matter. But like I said before, I see this all the time in looking for group and looking for raid. All the time. People who don't understand simple basics about their class and then yell at everybody else because, oh, you're doing it wrong. Oh, blah, 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 blah. No, you're actually the wrong one here. And I got told this earlier in looking for in LFR. Like I was on a fight I had never been in yet, because I haven't raided a lot recently, and I was doing this for the hell of it, and I was told that I was doing the fight wrong, even though I asked what to do, and I was told, well, you'll just figure it out. Okay, that's not the way this is supposed to work. You're supposed to help someone who doesn't know something. So when they ask for help, you can tell them. Now, if someone gives you a piece of advice like, hey, maybe what you need to do is you need to let me misdirect to you because that will actually help you, which is what I tried to explain after I was vote kicked in the nicest way possible. I'm actually doing something to help you, and here's why. I'm putting my threat onto you. Everything's attacking you. That is giving you enough room to run to the boss and pull him before anybody else, and it's not going to leave you rage starved because you just exited combat and you're going to have some rage lit up because there's no way you'll expend it all in 20 seconds on 3 mobs at all. Okay? You'll be just fine. We'll all be just fine. But no, that's not helping you. No, what that is endangering you as the tank. Okay? I'm sorry that you feel that I'm threatening you as the tank, but in reality, I'm actually not. Okay? And that's really my problem. I understand if this would be a new player, but I armored this person. No, they're not a new player. They've been around for a while. Uh, they're in a pretty large established guild. I mean, they have some achievements that that new players wouldn't have, and unless that's account wide, which it could be, it still doesn't matter because we're talking about someone who's has some pretty old achievements that they got years ago. So we're not talking about someone who just, again, is a brand new player. We're talking about someone who's been around for a while, someone who's presumably ran with a warrior tank and ought to know something basic like how misdirection works. I mean, honestly, is that the state of the game we've gotten to where we have assholes like this running around who vote kick people because they don't get their way, because they don't get to be a special snowflake? Really? I mean, come on now. Like, literally, as soon as I joined the group, this same person said to me, "You better not be a fucking huntard." Really? Really? I get insulted as soon as I join because there are other bad hunter players, and believe me, I know that the hunter class has its share of bad players. At one point in time, I was a pretty bad hunter, and I messed up a lot. But I learned. I've been playing, for a really long time now, and I've learned how to play a hunter well. One of my teachers, my greatest teachers, didn't even know he was my teacher, was actually Big Red Kitty. And if you've been around long enough, you may have seen his videos. He taught me things that no other player would actually teach me. Like, I learned this stuff because, I've played hunters for a long time. It was the second class I ever made. Oh, no, I'm sorry, third. First was Paladin, then Shaman, then Hunter. But it was my second most favored character ever was this Hunter. I mean, I've gotten 2 to 100 already this expansion, and they're alts. They're not even main characters. They're not even on a main server. I just leveled them for the hell of it. But like, I really don't get this angry reaction. I mean, I'm angry for being vote kicked, and I think that's pretty understandable. What I really don't think is understandable is the reaction to someone who, well, I just don't like what you're doing. No, you don't get to have that kind of power trip in a video game where you need to be nice to other people, particularly when you're from your same server and you're just meeting them. I mean, that's not only makes you look bad, but that makes everyone else in the group who is in your guild look bad, and that makes your own guild as a whole look bad. And that stuff, like I've told the guild that I'm in, I was like, hey, you represent everyone in the guild, and you represent the guild itself. Be nice to other people, particularly if they're from our server. And I've never had a complaint like that. Like I've never really had. Well, I take it back. I've had maybe one or two, but that was by people who wound up being kicked because they were causing internal problems. I mean, it's just bad, and it's a genuine toxicity on the part of these individuals who decide to say, well, dude, bro, whatever term you want to use here, uh, you don't get to tell me, what to do. I automatically know better than you, even though you're saying completely rational things, and what you say makes sense to me, and it's stuff that I should do. Oh, well, you're just wrong. No, I'm actually not wrong. Okay, and again, seriously, if you get into a group and everyone says they're ready, except for the person who's not running there, but when they get there, they make it clear that they're ready, and you make it clear that you're ready, and you want to start, so they start. Don't bitch at them. Gee, I mean, really, come on. It's kind of pitiful that stuff like this has to be explained in a video to someone who actually now has me on ignore because they don't want to bother to learn basics about their class. I mean, I'm not really the greatest warrior player. Like I'm not even up there with mediocre warrior players, but I understand enough to be able to say you're definitely doing something wrong with your warrior. And if that's your reaction to me before you're even maximum level, before you're even level 100, I can only imagine what your reaction will be to players once you actually get to 100 and start running things. And I kind of wonder if you have that, mentality of everyone else is wrong because, you're doing something that I don't understand you're doing, and I don't have the common sense to ask you, can you not do that? Or can you explain to me why you're doing that? I mean, really, all I'm trying to do is justify your problem here. I mean, it makes me seem like a dick because, yeah, I pulled. Okay, it doesn't matter. I misdirected to you. All the threat went to you, and it caused absolutely no problems. Instead, what had to happen, and I know this because I kept hitting refresh when I did /U to see, excuse me, if these people were still in the dungeon. What I saw is gradually they were all leaving. They all left, and they all logged out. So that means that however long it took them to get me as a DPS, and I was in queue for at least 15 minutes. At least 15 minutes. So they're in the dungeon, and I don't know how long it took them to get, to where they actually could use me to help them. But that's a long time for me, and then a 30-minute timer after that, which should have just expired just now. That's kind of pitiful. Like, that's really pitiful. I mean, if you're willing to ruin your guild run, like people, the evening for people in your guild because you don't want to use a rational excuse to vote kick somebody, there's something wrong with that. And honestly, that makes me dislike your guild automatically. And I'm afraid now of ever grouping with anyone in your guild again because I think maybe they're going to be just like you. And that's where toxicity actually comes in. People like me who get generally upset about being vote kicked because honestly, it's a very rare thing for me to be vote kicked. I very rarely have ever been kicked out of any group ever, really. Um, so like it hurts my feelings to be kicked. It really does. It makes me angry. And then to be told something like, well, you know, like I was told, well, uh, your threat ability, your ability, your ability to defer your threat to me has ruined my damage mitigation. No, that just means you don't know how to play your class. And the fact that everyone else that was in the group that's in your guild decided to take your stance in this instead of saying, hey, calm down, it's going to be okay. And then they just had to quit playing for the night because what are they going to do? It's either wait for another DPS or quit. And so you opt to go ahead and quit. Come on. That's that's letting not just yourself down. It's not letting me down. It's letting your guild down. I mean, it's letting people that are supposed to be your friends and people you're supposed to do stuff with down. And that's genuinely pitiful. That actually hurts me more than being vote kicked. And I don't understand it. I mean, it's something I just don't get. Um, I mean, there's all kinds of problems in the game. There's a lot of people who do stupid things all the time, but this idea that we can be so disconnected from everyone else in the game at this point in time is a problem, and I think this kind of reaction in uh, LFR or LFG is not helping. It's really not helping. I mean, it, I really don't know what like I'm having a difficult time putting my response into words at this point in time. I mean, I know I've been speaking for 10-15 minutes now, and I I'm clearly angry, but I'm not as like I'm more concerned right now, and I just don't get this kind of attitude. I mean, I really don't, and it makes me wonder. Is there something I can do that will help people understand you don't need to vote kick someone who's doing the right thing, especially when it's what you wanted to do. You know what I mean? And that it just bothers me. But now that I've calmed down, I think I'm gonna go actually be productive in the game for a while, and just chill out the rest of the night. But yeah, like sorry for ranting and yelling about all this stuff. I realize it didn't really accomplish anything, but it it makes me feel better. Like it gets all this off of my chest, and I'm not as angry anymore. So thank you for listening. I hope it didn't change your opinion of me. As far as Radio Tokyo or anything else goes. But I certainly appreciate you listening. And if you're the kind of player who gets angry at someone else because they're doing the right thing, you know, consider what I've said. Like just consider how it makes you look and how it makes your guild if you're in one look. I mean, we're all in this game together, and we need, to get along a lot better than we seem to be. Anyway, thanks for listening. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and there'll be a few new videos this week, and the Friday show's coming up. I promise everything will get better. It's going to be cool. Okay, rant over. Good night and goodbye.